What's up, guys? Welcome back to Michigan Muckraker. My name is Michelle. Today is January 5th of 2024, and here we are, almost a year after my first live stream post, which was January 9th of 2023, and 514 subs here on YouTube later. And I wanted to reflect on how the first year went. I started with zero social media presence since 2012. I systematically deleted the Facebook and Instagram, the few things I did have. I was never very active on social media. So I started with no social media presence. And so I wanted to share the goals that I set for myself, how well I did on those goals, and then create new goals for 2024. So I thought it'd be a fun stream. First and foremost, I want to say thank you to each and every one of you, 514 beautiful souls here on YouTube, and then 183 likes on Rumble. So I'm not really sure how the Rumble game works yet. That's one of the things I want to address this year. But again, I want to say thank you. I am completely humbled by each and every one of you, and I'm truly blessed. I started this channel so that I had somebody to share all the research that I do, because I really love doing the research. And when I find things, I have my husband to share with, but that is pretty much it here in reality, at least until this last year. So I have met so many amazing people in real life because of where this channel has brought me. And so it's been a crazy year, and I'm looking forward to another year. But yeah, I hope that you enjoy this content, and I want to share again where I started. So never done a live stream before. I wanted to just share information. That's the number one goal of this channel. At first, I didn't really know exactly where it would go. I started with transhumanism and shorter videos, but then I stumbled upon Goshen, which really was the main focus of the channel here in the first quarter of last year, because it's a huge, terrible plight on this area that I live in. So when I heard about it, I had to understand how it came here to Michigan without any of us knowing about it, how it's going to be on the second largest river and the third largest aquifer in Michigan, and how, again, it got snuck in. And so stumbling down that rabbit hole led me to do the longer form, because I went and did deep dives into the Big Rapids Township supervisor notes to try to understand how it is that Big Rapids was involved. They quickly got out of the game once they realized that people don't really want it. But Green Charter Township, as you know, if you've been here any length of time, they went and they held fast, and now they have all been recalled, and a message was sent loud and clear. So I'm so thankful to have been involved in that process. The people of Green Charter Township definitely, they stepped up. They did the work. They became aware of the situation and did their due diligence. And so I still have faith that that project will be stopped. Illinois, there's a huge presence over there as well to stop their Goshen project. So that's kind of how this whole thing started. And it started with the 20 minutes on transhumanism, and then it turned into 2 hours on Goshen, EV batteries, supply chains, Department of Transportation, and a huge focus for this channel this year is going to be the mega regions. I think that's fascinating. It's a national plan, and I bought this book, Mega Regions and America's Future, and I haven't read much yet, but already I have struck gold. So, a little spoiler alert of where this channel is going. This is a big thing. I find it fascinating. The national plan, which I always thought was anti-American, free market instead of central planning. But in 1808, there was a central plan 1908, of course, 2008, they tried, and here we are with this mega region 2050. So, yeah, that's how it started, um, and where it's going. I feel a lot more confident, so to reflect on that, I still get nervous, but when I first started, I got extremely nervous, like, palms are sweaty, heart beating really fast. I'm not used to public speaking, and again, 514 people, just thinking about speaking in front of them, 514 individuals. It's I've never done it in real life, so except now with the power of the internet, I technically have. And again, it blows my mind. I can't thank you guys enough. So I'm going to share what the goals were for the channel that I wrote down in this. And by the way, thank you guys for hanging out with me. I see that there's one individual chilling out there. Thank you. Let me know what goals you have or what goals. Hey, Zoltan the man. Happy New Year. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's been a crazy ride already. I know it's only day 5 of the new year. Unfortunately, just a quick side note, so everybody knows, yesterday, unfortunately, my oldest fur baby passed away. And so I think I'm going to talk about it in the future. I have some things that I've been reflecting on when it comes to death, life, and death. And it's sad. She was 16 years old, 15, 16, I think actually 16. But it was her time, and I'll miss her. I'll miss her presence. So it's been a sad start to the new year, but I have faith in God's plan, and she's in a good spot. So she was diabetic and blind, and she had a good long life, and I'm very thankful that she's been in my life. And so I plan on writing a Substack about it, which is something I am going to announce, I guess, right now. I don't know if you guys know that I started a Substack, so that way I can put all of the references for my videos in a Substack, which is a newsletter. So that way you can actually visually see the articles better, and I can write some notes. And also, I did not like that Google censored one of my references, so that was one of the really big reasons why I wanted to make the move. So now in the description box for the rest of the time I spend on this channel, I am going to actually share a Substack link, and on that Substack, I will have all the references for you. And I plan on actually creating a newsletter every week to kind of to go over all of the things that I might not have gotten to on the videos. Or, Zoltan the man, you actually asked me one time what YouTubers I watch. And on the live, I was like, I kind of froze. I'm like, I watch so many YouTubers and I can't think of a single one. So I would like to do a video on it, but honestly, a Substack would probably be more manageable for me at this time. So stuff like that I'm going to share over there. So it's Michigan Muckraker. I'll have it in the description down below. It's free, and that's the thing. I'm going to continue giving all the same content for free. Down the line, if I do open up the paid subscription service that is available, it's going to be extra added on. So everything I've been getting for free, of course, and it's never obligatory. I don't do this for money. I do this because I think the information is important, and we're in an information war. Not to sound too Alex Jonesy, but yeah, I really want to keep providing as much as possible so that you can think for yourself. The whole point of this is so that we never outsource our thinking, that we can think for ourselves, and in order to do that, we need the information. So that is my whole goal. But down the road, if you want to support the channel, I will be adding extra content. But again, that's going to start in June. I really want to get a handle on Substack and how it works, and be able to provide value over there before I open up any paid options. Bear and Ratfish, what a great surprise. I haven't been able to watch during the day lately. Oh, yeah. I forgot how to do this live stream thing. Let's pop that up. Thank you very much for hanging out. I know I don't do the night stream very often. It's something I want to do, but it would be more like this, chill streams where we can hang out. You know, I do want to do a video on sharing my TBR, the To Be Read, since I'm such a huge bookworm. But yeah, just some different things maybe on nights that my husband isn't playing music. Because when he's out playing music, I do enjoy live music, and while I can, right? And here you are doing an evening talk. Yes, I appreciate you guys. So the goals that I had set last year for this channel were 700 subscribers, and so it was a lofty goal. I listened to another live streamer that, you know, said you should write your goals down and, you know, make them a little bit lofty so that you have something to strive for and you really work at it. And I thought that was good advice and it worked for me. So I'm very happy with having 514 in the first year. It's a miracle. So thank you. The others, let's see, 100,000 unique views. So I will actually put up the channelytics here so you can see the back end. Hopefully this doesn't get me into any trouble. Let's see. Share this tab. Hopefully you can see that. Maybe this will make it better. So right here we have 217,000 unique impressions. So that's actually double what I thought. Because I've never done YouTube, I really didn't know what to expect. I thought 100,000 unique views would be amazing and a stretch. And so I obviously didn't make that goal big enough, but 217 is crazy. And it's from live streams, of course. Yeah, what have I learned? I've learned that interviews are fun, but I would rather be on somebody else's rather than host myself at this time. Maybe it's just a confidence issue, but I don't know. I think part of it is because I really, again, I enjoy the research. I am an introvert. I don't know if you guys know the 16 personality tests, but I'm an INFJ. So to me, again, this was extremely hard to start this channel, and I do feel encouraged by all the progress I have made in just talking to the camera. That is a feat in itself. Just be more comfortable talking in general, because usually I just get to bounce ideas off my husband, which has been, again, a blessing. I know a lot of people don't have the ability to talk to their spouse about these things. I know so many people that they're, you know, husband and wife, and they can't talk to each other because one voted for somebody they're not supposed to or what have you, and that sucks. I think that you should be able to speak to your spouse to level up your ideas, to challenge yourself. So yeah, I'm just trying to think of all of the things that I have learned throughout the year with doing YouTube. I started the Twitter as well. I forgot to mention that. I'm not really trying to build a following on Twitter. Like, I'm not working on it specifically, but I am very active on Twitter. So if you want to check out my Twitter, that's cool. Let me see what other goals. So I want to make sure that I'm kind of gauging my progress with this YouTube thing. I think that it's important, again, to write down your goals. So the streamer that I listened to actually said you should look at 3 streamers that you like and would like to try to get to their level. And at the time, I wrote Gothics, which I don't know if you guys, you know what, I could probably show you Gothics. She is a live streamer that was an atheist and, you know, completely on the left. And now she talks about God and the Bible. And so I just find her journey fascinating. She talks a lot about the dystopian world that we are unfortunately building for ourselves. So this is one of the individuals that I thought maybe to, look up to, I guess, 'cause that's not the right way to say it, but to try to emulate. And then the other one is the quartering. Now I'm going to pick different ones this year because I have different tastes than I did at the end of 2022. The Quartering is a social media commentary channel, of course.
Alex.
And he talks about what everybody talks about, Patrick Bet-David and Jimmy Kimmel and the Epstein disaster. I don't know if you guys have seen that stuff. So this is one of another social media individual that I thought perhaps someday I could get at that level. And then lastly, I have the Rebel Capitalist, which I have recommended on this channel several times. I think that this individual is excellent on talking economics because I myself am capitalist, free market capitalist, and I definitely am not happy with the establishment or with the establishment whatsoever. So he's another individual that I thought, maybe someday I could be on his level. The difference with him, though, I will admit, is that he started with money and he's put a lot of money into ads and pushing his channel to grow it extremely quick. I'm not doing that, I'm at all. Myself, I'm just doing the research and presenting it to you all and doing it organically. I do the most money I spend for this channel is on, New Scientist subscription, and I got the Detroit Free Press now and that kind of thing. So just for more information sources, but I don't boost or any of that. Ain't nobody got money or time for that kind of stuff. I like organic. So I wanted to stream Monday through Thursday, 9 to 11, but I quickly found out that was not feasible. So I'm going to stick with Monday and Tuesdays right now, live streaming at 10 a.m. And then Wednesdays, Rumble exclusive. So sticking with that. So I guess I failed that goal. I mean, failure is a strong word, right? I don't know about failing. I just didn't make the mark this time. Life goals, failed those big time. So this year, I hope that I don't. I read 33 books. I've only read 24. So I missed the mark there. I wanted to write 30 articles for my website. I didn't write one. I really focused on this channel, and my website is off the rails. So that's a future project. I still have the MichiganMuckraker.com, but if you go to muckraker.com, that just is popping off right now because that individual is down at the border exposing the United Nations involvement with that crisis that's going on down there. So my website is going to be on hiatus for a year. I'm going to focus on Substack. It's easier. It's very intuitive. And you know what? I wanted to show you. Hey, Travel Around Susie. Look at you go, woman. I hope that you're doing well and having a happy new year. And Travel Around Susie is a Michigander with a YouTube channel as well. So if you're into van life, I suggest you check out her channel. Thank you for hanging out, Susie. No gigs this weekend, so I'm sure you're dancing to some other band. You traitor. So what other goals did I fail at? Let's see. Exercise 4 times a week. Yeah, big fat failure for that one. This year, I am bumping it down. I am going to do 3 times a week, hopefully starting next week. I will say that I had every intention to do so many things this week, but my dog got sick, and that was that. So my week was dealing with that. But next week, I will start anew. What other? Write daily. Again, I failed at it. I wrote more often than I did the year prior, though. So this year, so far, I have written daily in my journal, and so this is the new journal right here. Just plain old orange. But because 2024 is going to be the year that it is going to be, I actually got this notebook, this fancier notebook, to write analog style all the really key events that happen throughout the year. I'm going to try to do this daily, but this is it. So, sorry. This is the new journal. And this is going to be the year of Trump, according to a bunch of different articles that I've been reading. And so I'm just going to put as many key events in this analog book as possible, so that way we have some written information if, everything gets wiped off the internet or it gets called misinformation. I have it written down. Obviously, printing it and putting it in a book would be even better, but I don't have a printer yet. So if you do, you might consider doing that. But just for a record, it's like record keeping, like you're a scribe. That's what I think of. I think of scribes and record keeping. So that's why I'm trying to write analog, even though it's a lot easier to just write on Substack and on Google Documents. But obviously, you can't trust Google. You can't trust Google Documents. So I think that was all I had written down, really, for goals, besides all these reading goals that I have written down for last year. So failed some, but overall, I'm happy with the progress that was made last year. So let's see why I started. 0 social media. Oh, yes. Another reason why I started this channel is because I feel like speak now or forever hold your peace. The clock is ticking, more and more information is being tagged as misinformation. It's getting harder and harder to actually find the truth. And so I thought, while we can, let's talk about it. So that's another reason why I started this channel. And I'm hoping to grow in my writing capabilities this year, and with, of course, this YouTube and Rumble. So those are my 3 main targets for 2024 as far as career. I don't know what to call it, but yes, my main goals. YouTube. I think maybe 1,000 subs is the goal. You know what? Let's share this. So the new goals for the year of the level up for YouTube: 1,000 subs, watch hours. I didn't do the first year, so watch hours, I'm not really sure exactly. I'm gonna make a goal for that. Maybe I have 3,300 the first year, so I'm gonna go ambitious, and I'm just gonna go 10K watch hours. Monday and Tuesdays, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, live here on YouTube. And I'm probably not live on Rumble right now because I tried to use the beta key and I don't think it worked. So I'm going to go live, though, exclusively on Wednesdays at 10 a.m. so that I can talk about things like space again. Definitely have another video on space coming up. I want to go to one event per month to stream. So like a pro-life rally. Last year they had one in Fremont. I wish I could have gone, but I did not have the gear that I have now. So I now have this Rode mic and I am ready to rock. I'm going to go out. I'm going to interview people. Hello. What do you think about X, Y, and Z? I'm going to try. I think that this I'd be more comfortable with than a one-on-one interview. I did 2 of them this year with Marjorie Steele and the author. I don't want to say it's Seamus Pendragon. So I was just trying to remember the name that is on the book. So Seamus Pendragon and Marjorie Steele are both writers, and it was very easy to talk to them both. They're completely different people, and yet I felt comfortable with speaking with each of them, but I did not feel comfortable in the role of interviewer, even though I tried to make it as much as just a conversation, because I think that those are the most fun to watch, but also because it makes both sides more comfortable, at least in my mind. So, um, I'm not saying no to interviews in the future, to hosting them, but I'm definitely not looking for that. I didn't know at first with this channel exactly what I was doing. I didn't know how I wanted to approach the information I was sharing. So now I have a better idea of what I like doing and what I'm good at and feel comfortable doing, and what maybe not so much. So Florida, Susie's in Florida. Oh, you lucky. Barren, sadly, in real life, I know very few who are aware of the dystopian world we are in, and even less who care to acknowledge it. That's the biggest problem. People do not want to acknowledge it. Even my own family asks me, and I'm actually going to write a Substack on this, because, they just want to be happy and live their life. And to me, I don't like that we are in the middle of a war and no one wants to admit that we are. Like, that is what stresses me out than being in the middle of a war. It's the fact that no one's prepared to be in this war. And I'm trying to, my family, I'm trying to explain to them, what steps they should take, and they just want to stick their head in the sand. And I get that, but ignorance is bliss is what they say. That's ignorance is bliss, and I think that's what I'm going to title my Substack. And it's like, I just think ignorance is bliss until you have a gun to your head and you could have avoided that, or you're starving to death in a gulag and you could have avoided it because you would not look at the problem. The problem has engulfed you because you won't turn around and look at the shadow. The shadow has overtaken you. We don't have to be that way. We don't have to do that. The only reason it's getting as bad as it's getting is because we won't look at the shadow and, identify it. So I am totally with you, Baron. It's very frustrating. And that's another reason I was hoping to find like-minded individuals that can see something's going on. Maybe they don't know exactly what, because I didn't know how deep it was. And when I first started this channel, and I've been doing research since 2012, but I didn't know that the United Nations was in the townships, like the verbiage, the sustainable development. It's in everything, urban development, cities, city planning, the transportation, all that, as you know, if you've been hanging out here. So I didn't know any of that. I went down my own rabbit holes with you guys, and it's very startling how they have used the art of war on us. That was one of the books I read last year that it really clicks. Like, they use the art of war. They've read it. They know it. And they know that it's much better to overtake a country without ever using an army. So discovering all this and then meeting up with y'all has been the best part of my 2023. No doubt about it. Because everything else, services and products suck. You go out to a restaurant and it's not the waitress's fault. But yeah, you have quiet quitting. You have nobody wants to work. So even if you are working, you're doing as little as possible. And so if you have people that are like that working around you, that brings you down. It's just we're in this really terrible doom cycle. Doesn't have to be that way though. Once again, yeah. Let's see. Go back to the goals. Set up my YouTube partner setting. So at 500 subscribers, I was able to become a YouTube partner, which just means that if you want to do a super thanks, that's available now, and I can actually set up some emojis, like personal emojis and such. So I'm going to figure that stuff out. Of course, nothing is obligatory. Like I said earlier, it's just if you feel like you want to donate, then you have the option. Some people have asked, and so There it is. I do want to do merch though. I actually don't want this logo on this hat. I want Michigan Muckraker logo. So the first product that I will have the Muckraker logo on will be a hat, of course. Deep dives. I'm going to click on here, share this tab. These are just some of the ideas. I'm going to keep going with this list, but the 2024 to 2028 5-year transportation plan for Michigan just came out in September, I think, of 2023. The U.S. National Plan for Gender, which came out May 2023, and so on and so forth. So I've got deep dives coming. That is part of the goals. At least one deep dive every month, I think, is the goal for that. So State of the State live January 24th. I will be live streaming that, giving commentary, seeing what which Whitmer wants to do with us this year. And again, I still think she's going to go up for president, but we'll see. Guests, like it says here, not very often, but I'm going to double down on research and writing just to try to get as much information to you guys as possible so that you can make informed decisions. That's the goal. Rumble goals. Subs 700. Right now I have 75. Again, I don't really understand. I have 183 likes, but I have 75 subs, and I got to figure out the Rumble game. So that's one of the goals for this year. And then Substack. 3 newsletters out weekly corresponding with YouTube and Rumble live streams. That's going to be all of the references for the videos. Once again, not going to be in the description. They'll be in the Substack newsletter. One weekly newsletter about topics that I missed that I think are extremely important, that maybe they just came out right after my live stream or what have you. Start paid with one extra weekly newsletter in June. So if anybody wants to pay for an extra newsletter, that's what I'm offering at first, but that's starting in June again, when I can actually keep up with the promises. I want to make sure that I can deliver the value. 4 free, 1 paid a week by the end of the year. That's the goal. 4 free Substacks every week, 1 paid. 500 free subs, 50 paid. It really is just to try to write down goals, and hopefully I do make them this year. That's the goal, right? Every year. But I looked at my goals from last year and I just shook my head when I looked at them earlier today. I'm like, I can't believe I didn't make very many of them. Not even the reading goal. So this year, same thing. 33 is the reading goal. 33 books. All right, so my life goals. First and foremost, I have never read the Bible. I want to read it. Again, the classic of classics. I have been watching this YouTube channel right here. I'm going to share with you. And this guy is a poet, or close reading poetry. I just found his channel. This is one of the lectures that I want to do. I actually want to continue his lectures throughout the entire year because poetry is a huge goal of mine. I want to understand it. I've read one poem from this book. See if I can find it. I had no idea. I'm like, I'm an idiot when it comes to poetry. Yes, right here. So it's called White Buildings by Hart Crane, poems by Hart Crane. I heard, lots of good reviews. This is postmodern though. Maybe that's why I don't get it, because it's so recent. So I am going to go old school. I'm not sharing my entire reading list here, but I thought I'd share a few things. Right here is Ben Jonson, The Complete Poems. And I know he's known for his plays, but I think this individual actually, Adam Walker, Close Reading Poetry, he recommended Ben Jonson's poems, and I thought, why not? I want to know the best. I want to read the best. So that's one of the goals for this year, is to try to understand poetry. And the Bible is extremely important in that, because most poetry and beautiful classics have references to the Bible. The other thing that makes me very interested in the Bible is the fact that it's attacked. So Christianity itself is attacked more than any other religion right now. And so that intrigues me. Why is that so? Is it because it's the closest to the truth, or some other reason? I just find it fascinating. So I've never read the Bible. I think it's important that 2024 is the year of the level up, and that's mind, body, and spirit. And to level up the spirit, I want to know poetry. I want to memorize some poetry, and I want to understand it with biblical references that all of these poets have, according to not just this individual, but several of the booktubers that I watch. I really want to try to dive in and deep in both poetry and my literature. So Hardcore Literature Book Club is another, that's the only Patreon I pay for, because he deep dives into books like no one else, kind of like an Oxford professor. I feel like I'm going to Oxford for $25 a month. So it's expensive, and yet I'm going to Oxford for $25. That's cheap if you think about the information that you're getting. So it's all perspective. Sultan the Man, excuse me, I completed the King James Bible last year and plan to do it all over again this year. Greatest book of all time. Thank you for sharing that. I have a King James Bible. I have the Penguin Classic Edition because I really like the literary view. So one of the things I've been doing, and I'll share this tab instead, I have 2 Bibles that I've been really considering. They're both expensive, but this is a study Bible that my husband and I are going to dive into. And so I'd like your opinion on what one you think is best. So this one is the ESV Archaeology Study Bible that came out in 2018. Now, ESV is the English Standard Version. I've heard good things about it, but I am not a scholar when it comes to this stuff. So you guys let me know. I have, again, the King James, and I'm going to continue reading that, and I kind of want to compare. So ESV is what I heard about NIV, but it didn't seem up my alley. So I'm thinking about this Bible, and then the other Bible choice is this church history, the ESV Church History Study Bible, Voices from the Past, Wisdom for the Present. So this came out in 2022. So it's designed to help believers in all seasons of life understand the Bible with notes from over 300 of church history's most prominent figures. Now, I don't know any of these prominent figures. Oh, Martin Luther. Okay, I know that. But overall, I just hear these other individuals that are very into biblical history and the Bible. They know these scholars, and this is a very impressive list. So that's why I've narrowed it down to these 2. Again, they are expensive, but this is something that's going to last and level us up spiritually. So I wanted to get a very good study Bible. So yeah, let me know what you guys think of these 2 choices, or if you know something else that's more scholarly. One of the individuals I watch, you can get devotional or scholar or academic. Devotional or academic. I don't mind devotional, but I am leaning towards academic, just because I want it to help me to level up my writing. And if I decide to try to write lyrical poetry, lyrics, I'd like to write lyrics someday. This is all big dreams, guys. I'm not saying I'm going to get it done this year, although I'm going to try. I'm going to start. But yeah, I want to be able to write well. And I know that the Bible is the best writing in the world. That's why it's lasted 2,000 years. So that is one of my huge, huge goals for 2024. Write analog every day. So far, so good. Write key events daily. Haven't done that. This journal, actually, that I'm going to write all my key events in just came in today. So I'm going to try to go back and write some key events for the last 5 days. Keep up with my commonplace journal. So if you guys do not know about commonplace journals, it's basically if you read any books and there's quotes that you or some kind of passage that really speaks to you, you write it all in the same common place. That's why it's called a commonplace book. So mine's actually pretty small. I started it last year and I didn't do very well on writing in it, but this year I am going to really focus on writing down the things that I learned that I want to keep with me. And it helps you when you look back at these journals to see how much you've leveled up, because you tend to forget where you came from, or you can forget. Sometimes I forget how silly I was when I was 19 and all the beliefs I had. But if I had journals, I wouldn't forget. I could look back and be ashamed. No. I really did have some silly ideas, though, obviously. Every 19-year-old does, right? I'm glad I've leveled up. And I still have so much more leveling up to go, but I think the process is really fun. And I can't help but to keep trying. Let's see. Commonplace journal, get battle ready. So level up mind, body, and spirit. This means that I need to start doing some cardio. That is what that means. No drinking this year. Last year I went 7 months with no drinking. This year I'm doing the whole year. I'm done. I think that I even just read some quote to the Bible that says you should be sober. I think it was in Revelations. I don't know. I need to just read it before I start talking about it. But be sober. That is a goal. Spend as much time with family and friends as possible, because you never know. Annabelle reminded me of that. You know, life is precious. Life is short. She was just healthy a week ago, and now she's gone. So enjoy the time you have while you have it. And whenever your family member irritates you a little bit, remember all the things you love about them and what you would miss if they were gone. Because, yeah, Annabelle, she would stand there and whine at me while I was getting breakfast ready for her in the morning. And it would be annoying. And now I'm going to miss it. So you never know what you're going to miss until it's gone. So just try to enjoy and be grateful for what you have while you have it. Read majority of my TBR. So I'm going to share my TBR on a Substack. It's quite lengthy. Last year, like I said, I probably wrote 33 books down, and I think I read 3 of them on the list. So this time I'm actually going to read the ones that I've written down. Although I'm a big mood reader, I want to stay focused, because this year is about leveling up the spirit. This was Hannibal, by the way. This was from a year ago. I changed her diet to no dog food, and she lost so much weight. So when I do my Substack article, I'm going to put a bunch of pictures. And I know a lot of you might not care, and I totally get that. I love you, and that's cool. This is a very personal thing. I get it. But I would like it for maybe the future. I can look back at it and see all the pictures together. So she was a lot skinnier because I put her on a good diet. She was pretty heavy right there. So again, reading goals. I'm going to share just the books in the Bible that I want to focus on. This list was given to me, again, that same individual that's doing the biblical lecture, the poetry guy. He said that these were the key texts that Oxford taught in the late 1800s. So I thought it was fascinating. These are the books that the literati think are the best in the Bible to know and to read. That's Genesis from the Old Testament, Exodus, the book of Judges, the book of Ruth, the book of Isaiah, I'm pretty sure it's the Song of Psalms, right? I should have looked into that because it sounds like he's saying the Song of Songs. But I made a judgment there. You let me know, please. Proverbs, Psalms, prophetic book of Jeremiah, the book of Daniel. And then the New Testament is the four Gospels, the parable of Jesus, book of Revelations, Paul's letters to Romans, and James's letters. So, again, let me know what you did. They miss some key books? Now, of course, I want to read every single book, but these are the ones that I want to focus in and deep dive in this year. And, if I get thrown off track with the Bible, then I'm going to just go with whatever guides me, right? But this is the idea that I have. And then I want to read 3 big books. Really big books like the Divine Comedy, just to give you a hint of one of the 3 that I've chosen. And I'm going to leave some open so that if you guys have suggestions, I want to do 12 classics, and I think I have 3 that I have not chosen yet. So if you guys know any classics that I should read, I'd love input. This is a two-way street. These live streams, I'd love to have some feedback on what classics you think I would enjoy or that would help me level up. Baron says, love hearing about your dog. Thank you. Yes, I appreciate that. I think animals are such a blessing. They're just pure love, and I'm so thankful for her and of all the pets that I've had. But as I've gotten older, I've definitely become more appreciative of animals and life in general, honestly. Book of Job is my personal favorite. Thank you. I'll write it down right now. Book of Job, and I'm going to write down that you recommended it. Let's see, where's my list? And yep, any poetry also, if you guys have your favorite poets, I'd love to hear it. I, again, am a complete noob at poetry, so I need all the help I can get when it comes to good poetry. I want to read Walt Whitman. Excuse me. Although I heard that he's kind of secular, or Leaves of Grass. You let me know if you've read it. Is it secular, or is it, does it give homage to the grand architect? Because I don't really want to, I'm not really into the postmodern ideas, so I want to stay away from those. Let's see, Book of Job. Thank you very much, by the way, Zoltan the Man. I love the suggestion. What exactly is it that you love about it? If you want to share. If you don't, I totally understand, but I am interested on what it is that speaks to you about the story. What lesson? And again, I should know what the Book of Job is, but I don't. Oh man. Yeah, I'm about to show my ignorance for real. Let me see. I think that I shared, courses, things I want to learn. Okay, the Bible study, I shared that, poetry and lyrical writing. What about you guys? Do you guys have any big goals, reading goals, spiritual goals, physical goals? Do you want to be able to lift 500 pounds or something cool? I myself just want to be able to, I want to get back to where I was even when I just got out of the military, which I know it was 11 years this year. It's crazy. But I am fully capable of getting back there if I put my mind to it. So I'm going to put my mind to it, and I'm going to, by the end of the year, be in the same shape as I was when I got out of the military. That's a big goal. But why not? What else am I going to do since I'm not going to be partying this year, I think that's all I had to share as far as goals go. Again, if you guys have any study Bibles that you would recommend, link them down below or say them in the comments if you're watching this after the stream has ended, because I've just found those too, but there are, thousands and thousands of study Bibles out there, and I want to get a good one. I want to know what the word is. Let's see, get it in my off-grid place. That's number 1. Off-grid. I hope that you can. I know that a lot of the channels, the YouTube channels that I watched with the off-grid living, they're getting hit by state regulations coming out in the woods. I mean, you can't run away from their surveillance state. And they just keep coming up with more and more rules so that you can't live how you want to live. So you have to be dependent on the system. But I wish you every bit of luck. I hope that you do it and you get there. Is it in Michigan, your off-grid place? If you want to say, you don't have to, of course. But, Michigan's going to be the climate oasis by 2050. So this is going to be the place to be if you survive to 2050. My only recommendation is to read the Bible at your own pace. There's no need to rush it. God will help you understand. Thank you. I'm really looking forward to it. I feel like that's my number one thing that I really need to work on. Last year, I wrote down that I wanted to read the Bible once a week, and I didn't do it. I failed at that goal too. And not this year. This year, I am going to read it. So I do need to get one of these Bibles before the end of the month, but I have a King James Bible, so every Sunday it'll be a goal for me and my husband to read it out loud. That's another thing, reading poetry out loud. All these nerds that went to Oxford and Harvard and Yale, and they're coming up with their own YouTube channels. I love them because now I don't have to pay to go to Oxford and get all the brainwashing stuff. I just get the meat and potatoes. So I love that I have access to all these people that will help me level up. I had no idea where I was going with that. I am not going to broadcast on YouTube. They can't touch me. Very smart. You're right. Although, yeah, I feel like the surveillance state is getting creepier and creepier. And I'm looking forward to being a witness and sharing all of that information with you throughout the year. I could probably do predictions, although it's always dangerous to try to predict because the timeline is always the issue, right? Somebody I go on, somebody that I follow on Twitter, his name is Florida Sasquatch, and he talks about how he was in the United Nations peacekeeping force, I believe, or he worked side by side in the United Nations, and he was in our military, one of the two. But he thinks that by the 10th of January, the United Nations is going to be present in the border issue. Now, I think that's fast. I think that's way fast. But obviously, I could be wrong. I mean, this individual used to work with them in the 90s. Maybe they know something I don't. But personally, I don't think we're going to hear about the UN being in the United States until 2028. But I thought that was something interesting that he just posted on the 3rd. He said within 1 week, the United Nations, something's going to happen where the lefties are going to cry for the United Nations to come save us. Now, I do think that there are going to be people that are going to cry, come save us. But I don't think it's going to be this year, but maybe. Because if it's the year of Trump and there's still people that really think what they think about him, who knows? I also heard a rumor that August is when they will replace Biden. They're going to wait all the way till August. Don't know about that one. Just throwing these out here. Obviously, no one knows. Except for the plan makers, right? The person behind the curtain. The Dark Shepherd, maybe himself, is the only one that really knows the plan. By the way, I watched War of the Worlds for the first time ever. I did not know about that movie, that it was like that. 2005 it came out, and it's talking about the war in Ukraine on the TV. And lightning strikes and storms and stuff. Have you guys seen War of the Worlds with Tom Cruise? I know I'm late to the game, okay? But again, I watched it. I'm like, if this isn't talking about demons, I don't know. I know they say they insinuate that it's aliens, but really what they do in that movie is very demonic. So, creepy movie. I recommend. Just if you like creepy movies that maybe tell a story about what their plans are for us. I don't know. What other movies do you guys have? I, of course, watched that stupid Obama movie. I don't know what the deer situation means on that. Is that some people are saying it's the zombie deer thing again. I don't know if you guys heard about that a couple years ago, that supposedly the meat was tainted and that the deers are going to turn the deers. The deer were going to turn into zombies. Now that talk is kind of happening again. Such a weird world we live in. It's crazy. I signed up for New Scientist, and I actually got a physical copy this time because I don't trust them. And I thought maybe one of these will have an article in there that is like, what the hell? And they try to erase it. I don't know. I know a lot of crazy crap is going to happen this year, and so the only thing they cannot change is physically in front of me. The only way to get rid of this information is to, burn it or throw it in the water or something. So I hadn't thought of lefties asking the UN to save us from the border crisis. That fits right into Rotten Joe's playbook, selling out our sovereignty. Absolutely. And it can absolutely be true. Let me see. I'll share. I will find the Sasquatch. The border crisis stuff, again, who knows what they really have planned, like what timeline, but it's bad. I found in an article like halfway through this year that next year Michigan's going to have 10,000 this year. So 2024, Michigan's going to have 10,000 refugees come in. How do they know that? And here they are talking about it. Florida. There it is. So at Florida _ squash. Squatch. Yeah. And here is I was the Army of Occupation. There it is. This is a thread that he has. It's gotten deleted a couple times, but he's got it on point. I've done the United Nations and NATO missions. I know exactly how everything goes down. I was torch party on every mission. Army tours. Goes through it. UN mission in Haiti even in 94, 95. There are over 400,000 of these UN trucks pre-positioned all around America. All of the military-aged men you see crossing the border will be operating these trucks soon. I remember it was back in 2012 that there were videos of trains with tons of UN vehicles. That was all the way in 2012, and they went missing, but of course they were staged in probably underground bunkers that the United States military has all over the United States. Disable a UN truck, he explains how. Choke point to halt the vehicle. Oversized chalk blocks in front and back, gasoline poured into the gun ports. I guess these right here is what he's talking about. Light match, measured steel bars with pre-drilled holes, master locks. Blue. Gunman aiming at the turret. Battery operated. See, the thing with this turret though is probably no one has to pop their head out with these turrets. There's it's digital. You just sit down there and you play a video game. The turret up here is the video game. And just that one little level, that one little layer putting that screen in between the two humans makes it that much easier to do the deed, to kill another individual. Drones, it's so much easier. You're not actually driving and you don't have to see the wreckage. You literally are just playing a video game and bombs are dropping out of your machine. It's nuts what's happening right now. It's nuts. Let's see if I can find what he was saying though about the UN. Maybe I have it even in my bookmarks. Let's see. Top 10 shadow banned accounts. This woman, I'm just going to share. This woman, unfortunately, was chased in Milan by 2 Arab immigrants who wanted to assault and rob her. And this kind of stuff is happening all over Europe. And again, it's going to happen here because we're allowing the United Nations to flood our country. So, yep, I did not save it, unfortunately. So the Sasquatch has it somewhere here. I'm sure you guys have seen this video. Hopefully you have. But yeah, 973%. So that is our fighting force. That is our pilots. United States pilots have heart failure, is up 973%. That's not good if you're trying to fight a war. And then all our resources were just used up in Ukraine, which is one of the reasons why I think we did it. You know what I mean, the establishment, the government establishment that has taken over our country, the mob that has taken over our country. And this is not goals. I definitely get that. I've gone off on a little tangent, but this is what's coming. I guess I'm doing predictions. You guys should know, I think that Donald Trump is selected to be the next president. I think this is the year of Trump. Everybody's saying it once again. And it's so predictable, the same people that the never Trumpers is what they call them. They really truly believe he's going to be a dictator. And that's one of the channels I watch. They just warn, do not do another January 6th or something like that. Don't get together and make it look like an insurrection, because they're just waiting for it. They want to do martial law. So that is one of the key goals in this whole thing, is definitely martial law. Now, when I personally think this year is going to get crazy enough that beginning of next year, when things get handled and the new president, Trump, comes in, he is going to put his foot down and declare martial law. But it's not because Trump is the mastermind or he is the anti-establishment from my point of view. It's because this is the plan. These are just steps to bring down America. And unfortunately, the whole dictator role of Trump is part of that. And that's when I think that the UN is going to come in, personally, is when Trump is a dictator. When Trump is doing martial law to try to get control of the cities that are out of control. I think that's when. So I think 2026, 2027, the United Nations is going to start making a presence here, and we'll take over by 2028. That's a prediction. That's way out there. Maybe I should definitely buy the tinfoil hat this year. But I'm throwing it out there anyway. Once again, learn who your neighbors are, and learn their strengths and weaknesses, and level up yourself. That's why I named this year the year of the level up, is because the only thing you can change is yourself. And so focus on that. And if everybody focused on it and tried to become the best person that they could, then the world could start looking better. That's my philosophy. Barron says tricky old men all over the country will have a few surprises for the UN if they think they're going to set up camp here. Yep, we just have to make sure not to play into their hands, because they do want us to be violent so that they can justify putting down the jackboot. But of course, we don't go without a fight. You're not going to take our land and you're not going to take over America without a fight. But we have to be careful because they are like 8 moves ahead of us. This whole thing that's going on right now, I don't know if you guys have seen it. I'm going to try to pull it up with Germany. The farmers in Germany are on strike. Now, I completely understand why they are on strike, why they are doing what they're doing. I'm going to turn the ads down. So they are taking their tractors and they are going to government buildings and they're spraying the manure that is supposed to be for crops onto government buildings. And again, I completely understand that sentiment. However, the farmers are doing exactly what the World Economic Forum and the United Nations want. They aren't farming. And that is the problem I have. I think that in order to say no to their agenda, you keep farming and say, no, I'm not paying your extra fines. I'm not allowing you to come and take my cows away. Like, we need to keep farming because they want us to starve. And this is destroying our supply chains. And unfortunately, I feel like this is exactly what these central planners want. They don't want them farming, and they're not. And again, rightly justify their anger because what's happening is their diesel prices are going up and all the regulations, if you violate them, you get fined until you don't have your property anymore. They're trying to steal the land. It's land grabbing. But really, we just have to say no. We have to stand together as farmers and not allow, and as the community around the farmers. Form up. Protect your local farm so that you have food. Barron says it's exactly what they want. I know. And that's why we have to try to think a couple moves ahead, because they're certainly thinking 8 moves ahead. They knew if you put all these regulations and these pressures and you do all of these things to these farmers, that the natural response would be this. They'll take their tractors and I'll show you, government. And I get it. I feel it. But again, what you're doing is exactly what they want. You're not farming. And we need food. We need you farmers to farm. We need cows. We need chickens. We need to stop calling them for bird flu, all of that. So they want us to have a civil war here in America. That's what they want. So you know what we need to do? We need to not have a civil war here in America. In order to actually say, screw you to the establishment, we need to not do what they want. So we need to continue farming. We need to love our neighbor. We need to not blame them, hate them, and, hold them responsible for our health, so on and so forth. Or the problems, don't blame everybody else for your problems. Take responsibility for your life and, and do the best you can with it. But there are other ways, and we do have to come up with as nonviolent of ways as we can, peaceful non-compliance, but we have to do it in mass in order for it to actually work. That's the only thing I can think of, Again, at the end of The Matrix, Neo just says no. Your rules don't mean anything to me anymore. I get it. That's what Neo says at the end to me. It's like, I'm not even part of your game, bro. Screw your bullets. Screw all your superpowers here in the Matrix, because I'm a human. I'm real. And your stupid Matrix means nothing. Whitney Webb is an individual. I don't know exactly who said Whitney Webb. It might have been Zoltan the Man. Could have been Barron. I can't remember. But Whitney Webb is doing excellent, excellent work. You are absolutely right. And what she is saying is that we need to stop relying on their technology, which is absolutely right. So another thing I want to do this year is I want to go unlimitedhangout.com is her channel, or excuse me, her website. And on it, she says she has a new article that lists all of the open source technology, basically technology that we can start using in place of Google or in place of Google Documents, or, you know, all of these programs that are establishment programs and software. We need to come up with our own. There are plenty of intelligent individuals who know how to create the software and code that are anti-establishment. We need to create a parallel society, basically. We need to stop using Google, and we need to stop using, and this is from Whitney Webb. So Redacted had Whitney Webb on recently, and it was an excellent, excellent interview. But I really like Whitney Webb. I want to pick up her books this year. I think it's United States of Blackmail 1 and 2 about Epstein and all them. Again, excellent muckraker, investigative journalist, what have you. She is doing great work. I don't want to do the same work she's doing. We absolutely overlap because we're talking about the United Nations and World Economic Forum. But she's getting way more into all of the individuals and the big corporations that are involved in AI. I'm actually going to focus on the plans themselves. At least that's my idea right now. You know, like the Department of Transportation plans, Mega Region 2050. I don't feel like there's a lot of people discussing these huge plans, central plans that the United States government has just put out the last couple of years. So I think that Whitney Webb is an excellent resource that everybody should be paying attention to. And I definitely will continue to share her work and dip into it and use it to try to boost my own for sure. But I always give her credit. I want to give credit where credit is due, of course. Zoltan the Man, Whitney Webb has 2 awesome videos recently. One on Natalie Brunell channel and one called What Bitcoin Did. Thank you. I'll check them out because yes, Whitney Webb, she's been making the rounds too lately. Gandhi is the exception that proves the rule. Where's my Gandhi book? You're absolutely right. My desk is a little bit of a mess. A little bit. Oh, you know what? Here, I got this one. Quotes of Gandhi. Old book. I picked this up at Flying Bear Books in Newaygo, downtown Newaygo. Cute, very cute little bookstore. It's been a while since I've been there, but every time I go in, I make sure I purchase a book, support local, of course, and they have a great selection, so it's really easy. But I do have several Gandhi books. He was the first autobiography I ever read. I will say I don't recommend that he is your first autobiography because he doesn't talk about the nonviolent resistance or civil disobedience at all in that whole autobiography. There's actually a separate book. I didn't know that. I bought the autobiography thinking he was going to discuss exactly how he did what he did, which is get, you know, the Brits out of India without having an army to do it. You know, it was amazing. So you're absolutely right. I love Gandhi. Again, though, his autobiography, it was hard. He talked about his diet a lot, and he was always sick because he would only eat nuts and berries and stuff. So again, there's other autobiographies I would recommend before that, but other than that, Gandhi, you know, he had excellent ideas and he did something unthinkable at the time. And it's unthinkable right now, right? Everyone thinks you have to be violent in order to change the world, but you really don't. But you do need strength in numbers. So Barron says, look at history, Michelle. It doesn't work that way. Tyrants are never dispossessed with gentleness. There's only one way to do that. Now, again, you know, my husband and I have this discussion all the time. I think that life is precious and that the innocent should be defended. So If a sinner refuses to be separated from his sin, or is harming, is a perpetrator, then I absolutely believe in defending life. So I am not completely against violence. I think that it's thou shalt not murder, not thou shalt not kill, because I'm sorry, if I see a child endangered, I'm going to stop that from happening ever again. So there definitely is a balance in all things. I just feel like, we should try not to fall into their hands. They want us to be violent, so let's try not to be as much as possible. But that does not mean the way of the leaf, like in Wheel of Time, where you just allow yourself to get stabbed, and because that's not valuing life. You're allowing the evil to win over the good. I'm not for that. So definitely not 100%, a pacifist by any means. And again, my husband and I have this discussion quite often because I always default to nonviolent resistance. But I think that's one of the main differences between men and women. I think that's something that is a yin and yang thing, that we can help each other, because there's definitely value in the masculine way of thinking. We need strong men. Major reason we have the problems we have right now is because of weak men. Of course, you all know the saying, I'm sure. Weak men creating terrible times. So I love strong men, and I know that men and women each have extremely important roles in this world, so you'll never hear me men bashing. I really don't like that when people do that. Women can be just as messed up as men. I've seen it. In different ways, of course. So to me, people are people. Men are beautiful, women are beautiful. Men can be evil and women can be evil. We're each capable of it. So murder and war are not the same in any way. Yes. War. You're right. Although, yeah, they're defending on our homeland. That is something I can get behind. I do not like how we're Team America policing the world. Don't like that whatsoever. Let's see, what other predictions do I have this year? I predict that more and more people will be reading the Bible. I do. I think that people are starting to feel the darkness, even the ones that refuse to look. So I do have faith that things will turn around, but I also think this year is going to be rough, honestly. I just got to be honest. I'm not a doom and gloomer. In the end, I trust God's plan. I am just going to do everything I can to be a good person, but the supply chain issue is going to be a big deal. I've already seen it in the stores. There's empty shelves again, and it's just the start. So get backyard chickens, learn how to forage. I have several books. I'm going to share with you real quick that you should have in your library. Edible and medicinal wild plants of the Midwest. If you are here in the Midwest, I'm sure that there is a virgin. I'm sure there's a version like this in every state. A version. But this has colored pictures, so that's extremely helpful. And then, it tells what it is, and it gives a description, range and habitat, the major uses of it, the health and medicine, how you can use it as medicine, which is obviously valuable. I think we should be using plant-based medicine more, honestly. I think plants are mainly for medicine and meat is for food. But hey, if you want to be a vegan, I love you anyway. I just think you're wrong. But I still love you. I think that meat eaters have the way. That's one. Now, here's another. We have the foraging medicinal herbs and wild edible plants in the Great Lakes region. Samantha Deer or Deary. This one does not have colored pictures, though. So this just has a little bit different information. Upper Midwest and Ontario, identify, harvest, prepare, and store wild foods and healing herbs and plants. So I recommend having that. Midwest foraging, here's another one. This is 115 wild and flavorful edibles from burdock to wild peach. This one has the colored pictures, how to identify it, how to gather it, how to eat it, where and when to gather it. So excellent information. Another, just to give you an idea. And again, Midwest Foraging by Lisa Rose. I have this one. It is Making Plant Medicine by Richo Check. It was originally published in the year 2000. Making Plant Medicine has become a preferred herbal reference used by medicine makers of all descriptions, having found its way into kitchens, herbal laboratories, and herb schools throughout the world. This one doesn't have any pictures whatsoever, so this is just information on plant medicine. So when you get the plants, what medicinal purposes for them. And then the last one I have is the Modern Herbal Dispensatory, a medicine making guide. Now this I think is the most complex. No, maybe not this one. Let's see if I can find. So it does have some pictures, but not many. But it's, aromatherapy and flower essences. Gives information on essential oils and mood, and essential oil safety. And then back here you have different recipes. So yeah, herbal eye wash, herbal tooth powder, sinus snuff, just to name some of the recipes. I recommend having these because you never know, right? And this really is the last one I have, right here. This huge book, Medical Herbalism, the Science and Practice of Herbal Medicine. This one is the one I think is complicated, but yes, it shows the skin. There's not really many pictures in it, but it will explain to you different skin diseases and different plants in order to heal those skin diseases. So this one, David Hoffman is the author. And I think that these types of books are probably the most valuable in my library. These are all great for leveling up the spirit and the mind, but when it comes to the body, you need to eat. And I really think that Americans don't understand. They think it can't happen here. And I've been to countries where there's, terrible problems, food insecurity. It's not something that Americans are ready for, and I'm worried about that. So I want you to be prepared. I want to try to be prepared. Just because I have these books doesn't mean I know. I need to actually go out into the woods and try to find them. So maybe there we go, another goal. I want to walk more this year, and when I do, I want to maybe pick out a plant that I want to find. So that way I know where it's growing, and I can go harvest it if I'm starving. These types of things, and maybe it sounds paranoid to do these things, but I think it's better to be prepared for the worst and hope for the best. So if I know where these plants are in my forest, then I am one step ahead of the game. And that's the whole mentality, is to just buy yourself time, because you never know what situation is going to be thrown at you. And every situation is going to be a different route to take, obviously, a different solution. But time is what you're buying with your preparations. So, because you won't be able to map out every single thing that you're going to come across. It's just impossible. But I firmly believe we need to get into a more soldier mentality. We need to understand that we are in a war, and that it is our own government that is against us, we the people. We do not have control over them. They are out of control. They do illegal things right in front of our face, and no one is held accountable. And they talk about it over and over. Everybody just talks in all these court things that go on. Nothing happens. The laws don't mean anything anymore. And so once people figure this out, it's going to be even crazier. So get into the soldier mindset. Be prepared. Hope that it doesn't happen to you in your area. Hope that you don't have it terrible. But that's my advice. That's what I want to do. I want to go in the woods more. And I want to learn what foods I can eat. What other goals? Walking is definitely going to help keep your mental fortitude up, your spiritual fortitude. People want to make fun of, go touch grass. Everybody needs to touch grass more. We should go barefoot more often so that we touch Mother Earth. I'm going to read the Bible this year, but I will say that I like Hermetic wisdom. I think that honor thy father and thy mother. To me, I think I might have said this once before, but I can't remember, so I'm going to share it again. Father God is the spirit, and he impregnates Mother Earth with the soul. So he is the spirit portion, and Mother Earth is the physical portion. And so you have both the material and the spirit represented, and that's what we are. We're both. And so I think honor thy father and thy mother in that sense makes sense to me. Mother Earth is, I don't know, I want to say equally as important. But of course the spirit comes first. Just like, yeah. The man is the action and the woman is like the receiver, right? Giver and the receiver. There's like so many poetic duologies, I guess. And Hermetic wisdom definitely resonated with me in that way, because part of Christianity does seem very masculine, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying men and women, or masculine and feminine energies, are both equal on the scales. Like, they're different, but they're necessary. Both are necessary. So, and I think women need to start realizing that their superpower is that they can they create life, obviously with a male, but they can hold life. They are responsible for the beginning of life. I think that that's so belittled. I think that's a huge problem. We need to start actually valuing all life. To think that a baby in a womb is a parasite or a burden, to think that a baby is a parasite, is to think humans are parasites. It's a very anti-human message. So I'm going to continue saying that too. I know that some people don't really like that, but I'm sorry. Not sorry. Life is important. So, goals. Got to keep thinking about the goals. Oh, Baron, go barefoot and drink From the hose to absolutely drink that well water. Do not let the government take you off of well water. Do whatever you can to stay off of central water. They're going to try to push. That's another prediction. They're going to try to push the septic stuff and the water. They want control over it. They do not want us to have access to water without their permission. So, make a well without electricity needed, like they did back in the day on your property if you can. Like get a pump. I think what my brother said is what you tap a pipe down 6 feet and then get a pump and you can pump water out of the ground here in Michigan. It's one of the reasons why the elitists want this place, because we have the best freaking water in the world. And I think we have 20%, 1/5 of all of the fresh water in the world right here in Michigan. So drink from that hose, drink that well water. Nothing better. Tastes the best too. I think that Baron says, I started growing some medicinal herbs. I found mullein, hopefully I'm saying that right, and wild lettuce growing right in my own yard. Dang! That's awesome. See, I don't know anything growing in my yard besides dandelions. I know you can eat them. You can eat the whole thing, I'm pretty sure. You can make dandelion tea, and the roots are supposedly really good inside a stew or what have you to keep you nourished when you don't have any food. So yeah, biggest thing, 2024, of course, is the elections. If we have them, I think we have no idea what they have in store for us. So all you can do is prepare. Pick up the books. Last year, not this last Christmas, but the one before that, 2022, I actually bought my nephew a book on trapping, on how to make all kinds of traps, fish traps, rabbit traps, all that. That's another really important book I think you should have, learning how to garden. This right here is something I picked up, Clyde's Garden Planner. I think it was $5. And it has, when you should plant what. Very, very simple tool that everybody gives high ratings to, makes life really easy for gardeners. So pick up one of these too. Yeah. Any other goals that you guys want to share for 2024? Any goals to, again, get in shape, or any books that you want to read, you want to tackle? Oh, another one. Did I share Divine Comedy? I might have shared that this stream. I'm already losing my mind. 35, and I'm already going. Oh, be melodramatic. I guess I've been going for a half hour longer than I thought I would be, and I'm thankful that you guys hung out with me tonight. I was worried because it's a different time that maybe I wouldn't catch any of you guys, but I did. You caught me, and I'm so appreciative. Again, each and every one of you, the ones that really come out, hang out in my live stream all the time. Dragonfly was one of the first, and Zoltan the Man, Baron, Susie, thank you for coming out when you do, if you're still here. But thank you to each and every one, again, of the 514 of my first subscribers for having faith in the information. I'm going to continue to search the webs for pertinent information that I think will help you, again, make decisions and just stay informed and be a witness of this hell on earth that we're creating with the Dark Shepherd's help, right? We can change it anytime we want, but we do have to acknowledge it first. So I think I'm just going to give a few minutes because I know the stream is a little bit behind. But if anybody wants to share anything else, I hope I got all my goals out. Look out for the Substack newsletter that will accompany this video. So once I get it done, I'll have it linked in the description. And if you subscribe over there, they'll just be sent directly to your inbox if you so choose. So I really appreciate it. I hope you will consider going to the Substack. That will be a main focus because I really want to get good at writing. I want to be a scribe. That's the goal. 2024, become a scribe. Thank you guys so much for watching. I don't think y'all have anything else, so I love you. I will see you on Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I have no idea yet exactly what I'm going to discuss. Let me know if you have anything. I was thinking about the Michigan GOP and Christina Caramo, which I don't know exactly what's going on with all that. I want to figure it out, but my gut feeling is that Christina Caramo is being attacked because she's anti-establishment. I could be wrong. I'm going to find out more. I'm going to share whatever I can. But as of right now, I'm sticking with that. She seems to be the only one that's calling out the World Economic Forum and the United Nations. And she's being attacked relentlessly. They're trying to replace her. So, again, I'm not Republican, so I just find it very interesting. And I find Christina Caramo interesting. I'm going to be honest. I hope that's one person I hope to meet this year somehow, just to see if, to kind of gauge, because when you meet somebody in person, you get the vibes, right? I would like to talk to her because I think that she's real, but I could be tricked. This is the age of deception. I'm always looking for the truth, but I'm not always right, of course. And so my goal here is always to just give you the truth as I find it, as I know it, and if I have a mistake, I'm going to own up to it and correct it. So thank you guys. I don't know why I keep doing this, but except to say that I'm grateful. Thank you, and I'll see you on Monday. Have a good night. Have a good weekend. Peace out.